Hello, this is Mayor Chris Bollwage, and welcome to another edition of Our City. If any of you need to know what's going on in our community or throughout the city or the surrounding regions, you can reach us on all of our social media sites. And if that's not acceptable, just call our public information office at 908-820-4124. And I'm pleased to be joined on this week's show by Miss Erica Fischer-Kaslander, the Executive Director of Child Focus, and Mr. James Walker, who is a court-appointed special advocate and a CASA volunteer. Erica, James, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it very much.
This is great. So I don't know much about the organization except you're moving to Elizabeth. And Erica, you're the Executive Director. Why don't we go with you? Tell us about yourself. What got you here?
Probably too long of a story to go over in this 15-minute segment, but I've had a lifelong involvement and passion for child advocacy and child welfare related issues. I have multiple aspects of my family, siblings and in-laws who are all adopted from the foster care system.
Oh, really?
Which led me to work in this field originally, and I have been the executive director of the organization, which previously was known as Passaic County CASA, the Court-Appointed Special Advocates, since we opened in 2007, so 17 years ago.
You've been there for all 17 years?
I have been there all 17 years. And we recently had the opportunity last fall, the fall of 23, to expand our services to cover Union County. So we're really excited to be here and get to know everyone in Elizabeth. We opened our office in Elizabeth in January of this year, so a few months ago. And
so Erica, let me interrupt. How did Passaic get the job in Elizabeth or Union County? Is that a governor or legislature, or is that you, the organization, deciding we're going to expand?
So there was historically a CASA program that operated in Union County for many years that was, struggling and ceased to operate probably over the summer, last summer. So in cooperation with the administration of the courts, our state association, CASA of New Jersey, we had the capacity, and we were really honored to be considered and asked to expand our services because we knew we had the ability to do so. So we're happy to be able to support the kids in Union the same we have for 17 years done so in Passaic County.
So James, tell us your role as a court-appointed special advocate.
The court-appointed special
But you're a volunteer,
advocate,
so you're in
CASA, right. Now, we're Child Focus, correct? We're Child Focus, but we're under the umbrella of Child Focus, but we're CASA. And what it is, I was born and raised in Elizabeth, so I knew how to get here. I know everything and what have you as far as that's concerned.
Did you have a problem getting here, Eric?
No.
Oh, okay.
Our office is only 2 blocks down the road.
Okay.
I went to Thomas Jefferson, graduated from there, went to Rutgers, graduated from there. I worked, as I had previously told you, as a customer service supervisor for the United States Postal Service for quite a long time. And I decided, I said, you know what's going on with this? I'm seeing this CASA, these CASA people and what have you. And I said, let me try to figure out what's going on here. And that's when I decided to, hey, let me try to make a move and really spend some time with this as court-appointed specialist helping foster children.
And this is National Foster Care Month, the month of May. So tell us about the work that you do with Child Focus to support children that are in foster care, and also how many do you deal with?
Sure. So Child Focus is now our umbrella organization name. Since we expanded, the organization rebranded as Child Focus because we run 3 different programs, all supporting children in foster care. So under that umbrella, we run the Court-Appointed Special Advocate Volunteer in both Passaic and Union counties. We also operate the New Jersey Safe Babies Court Team, which serves children under the age of 3 that are in out-of-home placement because of abuse or neglect. And then our last program is called the Open Door Store, which provides material, items, clothing, shoes, back to school, toiletries, all for children in foster care as well. So we really operate a very holistic group of services to make sure that when kids enter foster care, to no fault of their own, that they are able to experience as full and complete a life as possible, despite the fact that they may not be able to live at home at that point in time.
So, Erica, how many children do you think you're dealing with, and what are the ages?
From birth, from a few days old, directly out of the hospital, our youngest children are, all the way up to age 21. So it spans the spectrum. And in a year, between the three programs altogether, it's probably between 600 and 700 kids. Our court-appointed special advocacy program in Passaic County last year served about 300 kids, and currently in Union County we're serving about 70 kids. Unfortunately, the issue is there's a lot more kids in foster care here in Union County, and we don't have enough volunteers to serve them all.
Okay, James, that's a great segue to you.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Tell us what CASA does in the volunteer program, and how did you talked about how you got involved, but
it's just
where are they headquartered out of, CASA?
Well, it's nationwide, if I'm not mistaken. CASA's nationwide, absolutely helping out the foster children. However, just what it says, court-appointed special advocate. So what we do is we advocate for the children, their best interest. What's in their best interest? What's their needs? How can we fit in to help them out? And like it says, we're volunteers, so we can go in, without any restraints, more or less, blah, blah, blah. You have the usual requirements and things like that. But you get a view, you get a look at what's going on in the community with the children who may be, for the most part, maybe a disadvantaged in an underserved community, things like that, what have you. So, but you do have an inside look. So when you say volunteer, do you actually go into the houses where the foster kids are living and check out the parents or the foster parents? Living conditions, make assessments. We're all trained for this. We have a training program that we had to complete for this, and it was quite a while. But I think it's 6-8 weeks or something like that. It was about 8 weeks, maybe a little bit more. But it was good. It's worthwhile. You get to really understand what's going on as far as the foster care. You get to understand the child welfare system. You get to understand all of the aspects of what happens as far as foster care is concerned, and how you can fit in as far as, well, what can I do? And this is where CASA comes in at, as a volunteer. And we go in, we make assessments, we monitor the situation. So when you make assessments, James, you give them to Erica and her team? And I forward it to my supervisor. My supervisor forwards it to their supervisor, Erica, Annie, Gina. And then what do you do with them, Erica, when you get them?
So the core, James is being very modest. The core responsibility of the volunteer is to build a rapport and a relationship with that child, so they can advocate for their best
with that
interests.
individual child.
With that individual child. So they're assigned by a family court judge to one specific child or sibling group if there are siblings. And they have to visit that child face-to-face in their home or in their school at least once every calendar month. And then they attend court. So the advocate, like James, attends court, and they let the judge know what's currently going on, what needs does the child have, and make recommendations for the long-term outcome for this child to hopefully be reunified if it's safely possible, or else another permanent resolution of the case is put. When you say be unified,
are you dealing with some domestic violence incidents and things of that nature? Is that's why people get moved to foster care or drugs or things like that?
Yeah, every case that we experience, the child has been removed from the home for their own safety.
And that's by a judge? By
a judge, yes, in partnership with the Division of Child Protection and Permanency and their family court here in Union County. If there's a safety concern and the child is removed, then they're eligible for a CASA volunteer to be appointed. And those cases are involving domestic violence, like you mentioned, substance abuse, mental illness, housing issues, all different types of, physical abuse, sexual abuse is a possibility, but not the large majority of our cases are substance abuse involved.
They are.
80% of our cases involve parental substance abuse in one way or another.
And then the foster homes, how are they vetted? And who vets? Are they vetted in any way?
They're state licensed foster parents. Okay. A couple years ago, the terminology changed to call them resource parents in New Jersey, which means the same thing. You'll hear people throw around both terms. But they have to go through a training process, different than the CASA training process, but similar in duration and length. Their home is inspected and licensed by the state of New Jersey. They have an office of licensing that's part of the Department of Children.
Can you do your job without volunteers like James?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. The entire organization is driven by volunteers.
It is.
amazingly thankful that people have the time and the dedication like James to. You know, he is a business owner and runs a business and has his own, you know, family and friends and personal life, but still finds the time to give to a child who he doesn't know until he's assigned to them and doesn't know their scenario, but is able to.
How many children are you working with like now, James?
I have two. I have two siblings. Yes, I have two siblings.
And they're in the same house?
They're not. They're not in the same house. But I have two siblings that I'm working with, and it's a new case, and but it's very inviting. It's tremendously fulfilling. Okay, to try to help these out, and usually they can be of any age, basically up till 21 years old. So. You know, I'm working with two of them. One is a 7-year-old, one is a 13-year-old.
So these kids there's got to be a little, for lack of a better word, culture shock, right? I mean,
entering foster care is trauma.
Trauma, right?
I mean, despite the trauma that they may be coming from, it's what they know. So entering foster care is always trauma, even in the best of situations. So we make sure the advocates are well trained on trauma, and helping to minimize that whenever possible, but also through our other programs, through the Open Door Store, we really believe in supporting the normalcy of children. So, you know, I always think I have two boys of my own, and, you know, my boys always want to go to school and make sure they have the right outfit that,
they know what mommy does?
School.
They'll probably say, hey.
They very well do.
Send you to foster care.
Yeah.
Hey, why? No, I'm only kidding, of course. So Erica's great at this. She leads me into the next question with everything she says. So what's the experience like for you, James? And you know, she has two boys of her own. How's it impacted your life as a volunteer?
Like she mentioned, I'm retired now, so as that, I do have the time. I do have the time to spend. So I do have a business, but you know, I can manipulate those hours and things like that. And so you find time. You find the time to fit it in. You know, where you wanted to do something to give back to the community, you want to help out a little bit. So this is it. It fits right in there.
Are these the first two you've done?
No, I had two previous siblings as well. So. You know, that they aged out, which means that...
I was just going to ask you, what's gratification in your role? If they age out, or is gratification going back to a stable home life, or seeing them grow and mature in the foster house?
It's
or a combination of all of it, huh?
If you can do the reunification, if the parents can get themselves together and they can reunify with their parents, that's great. If that doesn't happen, then what we're looking for is permanency for that child. And so whatever situation comes up to be the best as far as their permanency is concerned, where they're going to have a healthy life, a full life, and be able to progress, that's what we're looking for, whether it's reunification with the parent or whether it's with the foster care parent.
You two are so easy. Could you just give me next question just by talking? Erica, have there been any children that you've done over 17 years who have come back and tried to be a foster parent?
That's a good question. None that I can think of that have been a foster parent.
Have they been a volunteer, and what does it take? Do you need previous experience?
We actually have some youth who've aged out of care that are on our staff now.
Oh.
We have numerous youth, you know, different advocates. As you know, as the advocate, people like James have I'll say the most direct one-on-one relationship, and I'm privileged to be in a position that I get to, you know, keep in touch with many of our volunteers, even if they stop taking cases, and I know that they keep in touch with kids many years after their official case closes. And some that I directly served, I keep in touch as a young man that we were involved with 16 years ago, and recently graduated.
And he's an adult now, right?
And he's a very much an adult, and he graduated from an Ivy League school last week. And I was,
isn't that great? So that's gratification then.
For me, that's gratification.
Sure.
Yeah, I had not much to do with it, but just seeing that he
So
succeeded.
you don't need any experience. You just get trained by you and your staff to become a CASA volunteer.
We say people are not expected to come in knowing anything. We expect them to be able to have the time, the dedication, the flexibility, and be able to know that they can make this commitment to a child for the duration. You know, we don't want somebody who's going to come in and their life is going to be so unpredictable that they can only do it for a couple of months and have to move on. So it is a long commitment. You know, the average time that a child is in the foster care system is anywhere from 24 to 36 months right now. So we want people who can make the length of that commitment and be consistent to that child.
So James, Erica shared a story of success. Do you have a memorable moment in foster care as a volunteer?
I absolutely do. There are many of them, because any time you can get a child to start changing their mind about something is a success story. However, one particular success story or success situation that we had, the two siblings that I had previous to the ones I had now, they were in South Jersey. So they were talking to the caseworker, and they were asking for bicycles. I said, wow, we need some bicycles. Can we get some bicycles? So the caseworker was, probably they were trying to find some bicycles for him. So I said, listen, let me do a little looking into this. Found a place that refurbished older bikes and allow people to come and just take them. It was a great, I forgot the name of the place, but that's what they did. And so I went in, I asked for, are you the people that refurbish bikes? It's a place in Plainfield. I got the bikes, I found someone with a truck, we took them down to South Jersey, gave them to the kids, they were overwhelmed with them. And it was a great story.
Yeah.
Absolutely a great story. I came back and I gave a nice donation to the people for doing that. It was a good gesture. It's a good beautiful, like a leap of faith and what have you. And it was great. So with that, that's one of the great circumstances of events that I've had.
Erica, tell us about any other programs your organization runs, and how do you get involved in this or CASA? Do you have information sessions, or do you have tell us about this.
So the volunteer program really is our CASA program. That it is completely driven by volunteers, as you said earlier. And our office is only a few blocks away, right on East Jersey Street in Elizabeth. So we have information sessions for prospective volunteers several times a month if you visit our website, which is CASA Union.org, all spelled out, the whole thing. You can see the list of upcoming information sessions, RSVP for whatever date is convenient for you. You can always call the office and people can answer questions.
When is the office open?
We're open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday.
You are?
Yep,
okay.
9 to 5.
And any other programs we run?
We also run the Open Door Store, which provides clothing and toiletries, school supplies to the children that are served by the CASA program. And then our Safe Babies Court Team program, which doesn't currently operate in Union County, operates in Passaic, Hudson, and Essex counties. But that program does not utilize volunteers.
And you got any upcoming events?
We always have upcoming events.
That's true.
Besides the information sessions for prospective volunteers, we have an annual gala, which is coming up in September, end of September, which is our main fundraiser for the year. We are a nonprofit organization that relies, predominantly on donations, individual foundation grants. So that type of fundraising event is critical to make sure we can continue doing these types of activities for the children of Union County.
James, Erica, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the show. I learned something today, and it's always encouraging when you can learn something new. And the work that the two of you do and others is really doing God's work, so thank you for that.
Thank you for having us.
I appreciate it
very much.
I want to thank Mr. James Walker and Miss Erica Fischer-Kaslander for joining me on the show this evening, talking about child focus and court-appointed volunteers in dealing with the foster care system. This is Mayor Chris Bollwage. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City. Welcome back. This is Mayor Chris Bollwage, and for the next half of this show, I'm pleased to be joined by Mr. Corey Samuels, who's a Lego brickmaster. And Corey, this is going to be new for me, so welcome to the show and tell me about yourself.
No problem. Well, about myself, I'm a kid from Jersey who loves Lego. That's me in a nutshell. I was raised here in Jersey. I enjoy Jersey. I enjoy life here. But I also like to play with Lego, even as a kid. And as I got older, I started creating this career for myself because I wanted to immerse myself in a creative field. So Lego was it. So
when did you first start playing with Legos?
I was about 5 years old, and I have a quick story, if you don't mind.
No, I want to hear it because it's fascinating. It was before, they were after my time, let's put it that way.
So I used to attend a preschool, and in this preschool there was a big box of Lego. And I used to always go over there and play with those Lego all the time, every day. And those pieces,
And you remember that?
I remember
Preschool?
it vividly.
Oh, wow.
I remember some of the pieces I played with in school end up at my house. And I don't know how that happened.
You took them.
I mean, that's up for debate. But my parents, they saw how much I was interested in Lego, so then they started buying me my own Lego sets.
Okay.
And that's how I got started in playing with Lego, borrowing
Borrowing.
from my preschool.
I like that. That's a great story. What do your parents think? Are they? What do they think now? I mean,
My father, he's just happy that I'm doing something that I like. And my mother, I keep rubbing it in her face because she used to step on the Lego and she used to get rid of them. And I have a younger brother, and I used to hold him over the trash can to get the Lego out.
Oh, yeah.
And we bring it back inside the house. So
Corey, you got some great stories.
I do. I do. I have a very interesting life.
So, you started playing with Legos when you were young. You grew up in New Jersey, and now you've developed a career and are called the Lego Brickmaster. Tell us about the career. How did it develop?
So the career. So for a long time, I was trying to figure out where will I be as an adult. So I worked in business. I was an analyst for a lot of years for a company, and then the company pretty much just got rid of my position, and then I was kind of sitting at home figuring out what's the next steps. So there was a company that was called Playwell Technology. They teach after-school program using STEM, using Lego. And I said, oh, that's very interesting. I love teaching, so I got into that. Long story short, pandemic hit. What am I going to do now? At the same time, a show called Lego Masters was having its pilot episode, and I was able to get on that episode alongside my brother. And
The first one?
The first one. We were season 1 of Lego Masters in the U.S. And, you know, we had a great time on the show.
What was that like? You were on the show. How long was the show?
The show was about 10 episodes, and they're now in season 5. So we were the first to start it all.
And you were on all 10 episodes of the first? No.
Unfortunately, I wasn't. It is an elimination show.
Oh, it is? Okay.
So you build. And
it's like Survivor and that stuff? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
More like Master Chef. So you build something, there's judges, and they choose which one was the best, and whoever wasn't, they go home. So me and my brother, we went home on a technicality, which is okay. But at home, I was trying to figure out what can I do now. You know, schools are closed, world is closed. What am I going to do? I started doing virtual classes, teaching kids how to build with Lego using STEM. And I decided to start an LLC and then create a business for myself. So that way I will never get fired or laid off or put on the side from any job ever again. It will be my own creation. It will be my own build.
Would you participate in Lego Masters again?
Whew.
Probably not.
Yes,
I will. Would?
Yes, I will. Let's just say that as long as I'm a part of this community, I will always have an opportunity to return to the show. When that happens, I'm not sure. But just stay tuned and you'll find out.
Okay, my notes tell me what is Buddy versus Christmas.
Okay, so Buddy Velastro. You're familiar
That's the
with
cake
the cake
guy?
boss.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So his team reached out to me also during the pandemic and said, hey, we have this holiday special. We would love for you and your brother to be a part of it. You guys will build something out of Lego. Buddy will bake something out of cake. And, you know, just build something big. So I looked around and I said, okay, well, can I create a team as well? So I reached out to a few of my friends who are local, who was also on the show. And we got together and we built this 6 foot tall, 70,000 piece Lego robot that we ended up donating to the Make-A-Wish Castle here in Jersey. So it was such an amazing time. We only had 24 hours to build it. So we were able to do that. And
you and your brother?
Me, my brother, and 3 other Lego Masters. Yeah.
So Lego Masters is a title?
It is it's not an official title because you have to win the competition to be known as a Lego Masters champion.
But not everybody gets to be on the show though either, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then you have what's called model builders, you have what's called brick masters, you have what's called master builders. So I fall in the line of Lego Master and Master Builder.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is fascinating for me, by the way, Corey. Yeah. I mean, so being a part of Buddy versus Christmas was pretty exciting.
Yes, it was a different feel. It wasn't as Hollywood as Lego Master. It was real down to earth. Buddy, he's a local guy, so we can shoot the breeze and everything on camera, and we just had so much freedom to just build creatively however we wanted to.
So earlier you mentioned Lego STEM.
Yes.
Do you teach that?
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
So STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
Yeah.
So I use Lego in order to incorporate that functionality and that type of teaching. So a lot of my classes, kids are learning how to build cars, out of Lego. So they understand what a chassis is, what transmission is, what an engine is. And they're building it all out of different Lego components to make it work. And then I have other classes where I teach them about government. These are K through 5 year like kids. And I'm teaching them how to build structure, how to do city grids, how to do, buy supply and demand and stuff like that. They have little Lego money that they can use to purchase material. So they're learning all.
Where do you do this teaching?
I do it all over New Jersey. So I have a few places in Westfield, Scotch Plains. I have a class that I teach out in Far Rockaway, Queens.
That's a hike.
Yeah, it's a hike, but it's definitely worth it. So I enjoy what I do. I do after school programs. I have a few locations where I actually do my classes from. I love it.
And how long does it take? I mean, kids play with Legos, but how long does it take a kid, or I guess, how do you recognize this kid's got some talent in
honestly
maturing with Legos? Am I saying this correctly, I guess?
Yeah, I can recognize that within a few weeks. So my classes are usually 5 to 6 weeks long. And by the third week, I get an understanding of what kind of kid I'm dealing with, what kind of builder. And sometimes kids, they jump right into it and they understand it. Other kids, they're kind of hesitant. But at the end of the session, they feel more confident that they can, grab a Lego set and they can just build whatever is on that set or build something different.
So what do you think the impact is you make in these classes?
The impact that I make is to show children and adults that your creativeness does not have to be limited with what's on a box. So Lego always shows you what's on a box and that's it. But I tend to break that mold and kind of show you that you can be creative with whatever material is in front of you. And that's the encouragement that I bring.
So my next question is the most complex Lego design you created. Was that Buddy versus Christmas, or was another one?
I would say that was the largest creation that I've ever done, but the most complex Lego creation that I've ever done is this flute right here. This flute.
Tell me about this.
So this flute started off as a commission for Lizzo.
I thought it was a gun in like a sci-fi movie or something.
So I thought it would be really cool to create one of the flutes that Lizzo is known for. And I created this flute. It doesn't play, as you can see, because it's all Lego, but I am looking to make it work. And, the commission didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. But then what I realized is that, I could just keep the pieces and I could just create it myself. So it's a 1-to-1 scale. That's what this is called, a 1-to-1 scale. And you want to build it in a way that is familiarized and that it looks exactly what you want it to. And I figured if I make the flute, I got to create a traveling case for the flute as well. And all of these things are built out of Lego.
Oh, did I break it?
Told you. But that's the cool thing about Lego. Even if you break it, if it doesn't work, you can easily just put the pieces back on, and it's going to be like brand new. That's it.
Wow.
Yep.
So what is Sam's Brago?
Sam's Brago.
When did that begin? That's that.
That's this. So Sam's Brago is my creation. This is my design. I have another story behind this. I was going to a wedding and I needed a brooch. Didn't have any brooches in my house. So I had these Lego cufflinks. So I decided to put the cufflink in the brooch part or the lapel part of my suit jacket. And at first no one noticed it. They said, "Oh wow, that's a cool Lego brooch." And my friend said, "Wait a minute, this is a cufflinks, Corey." And I was like, "Shh, don't say nothing." He was like, "It'd be real cool if this was an actual brooch." Like the cartoons with the light bulb. It was just like that. And I decided, okay, well, I want to create this because no one else is doing this. So you have like Lego hearts and everything like that, but you don't have a Lego brooch. So I started working on that, coming up with the name. Brooch and Lego together makes Brago. That's what this is. Sam's is my nickname from high school, so Sam's Brago, that's the name of the company. And basically I just kept creating these different designs and different intricate shapes. And this one right here particularly, I'll take it out real quick for you guys.
So Sam's Brago began going to a wedding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going to a wedding. And basically, it's the lapel part. It goes right here. Here you go. And unlike most things that I build that is not glued, this is glued. And it has, it's not looked upon.
You sell them out, right?
I do. Yeah. I do sell them. In the Lego community, you don't glue any of your creations. But however, I did a lot of market research, meaning I built them. I see how it worked in the field, and I noticed that I need to glue this because somebody will hug you, hold you, and they'll just fall to pieces, and then it's useless. So But I'm going to give this to you as a gift for having me on.
Well, thank you. I guess my next question is, Corey, now that you're an adult, what do you tell 13-year-old Corey?
Wow.
Or maybe 5-year-old Corey when you were taking the Legos from preschool. That's a great story, by the way. You were borrowing them. Yeah, I love that story.
What would I tell 5-year-old or 13-year-old Corey is that don't let anyone limit your potential. For a kid like me, I wasn't the smartest kid in the class. I wasn't the brightest. I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't the most popular. So it was very easy for me to just live an ordinary life and just be satisfied with that. But I always wanted to do something different. I always wanted to be different. And, you know, if I was very fearful, then I wouldn't be here right now. But I was always willing to take that risk, and I had a family who supported me.
Is your brother as outgoing as you?
He is. He's actually more outgoing than me. However, I'm more, I guess I'm more focused.
Is he in the business?
He is, kind of. He teaches preschool. So he's a preschool teacher. So he wants to get into fitness for kids and teaching kids how to be fit at such a young age. He did the Lego thing with me because, you know, it was my passion, and he's my brother, so he was going to join me no matter what. And if I chose anyone else to do the show, my mother would have killed me. So I had no choice.
You got any closing thoughts, Corey?
Closing thoughts. Honestly, I'm super.
Because I'm fascinated. So yeah.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful for all this opportunity. My season aired about 5 years ago. You know, they say that 15 minutes of fame comes and goes just like that. But I've been experiencing so much opportunity over the years, just being able to meet with you, meeting with all these types of people. 2 days ago, I was in Jacksonville teaching Lego STEM workshops at a convention. Today, I'm here with you, you know, and then next week, I'll be in Orlando. You know, I get these opportunities, and not everybody gets those opportunities. So I'm just thankful that I have people who are willing to support me and willing to just trust me and what I do.
Well, Corey, I got to tell you, this is a fun show. I've done a lot of them through the years, and this was one of the best. So I really want to thank you for taking the time to come up and join me.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want to thank Mr. Corey Samuels, the Lego Brick Master, for joining me on Our City. I think it was fascinating. I hope to see you next week on another edition of Our City. This is Mayor Chris Bollwage.